This is DIY Hi-Fi Life. Chris Barker back again with you with another DIY Hi-Fi Life video. Today I'm going to talk about an interesting amplifier I acquired a number of months ago called the VTV Purifi Amplifier from VTV. And I want to show you how easy it is to upgrade this amplifier for different types of input buffers. Today on DIY Hi-Fi Life. In a previous video that I'll have links down below, I discussed and gave an informational review of my initial purchase of the VTV Purifi amplifier. So I refer you to that for the basic and more information about that basic amplifier. When I bought the amplifier, I bought the basic input module, the MQA provided input module buffer. I always thought that I wanted to try it with the base specs first before I did much upgrading. Now I've decided to purchase the additional input buffer module from VTV, which provides options to substitute in op amps or discrete op amps of my choice to see how that affects the sound and to tailor it to my system. So today I'm going to demonstrate in video how easy it is to do that installation and install some new op amps to try out in this amplifier. Before we get into the specifics of what I am going to do today, let's talk generally about op amps and input buffers. Specifically, what are op amps? Op amps are basically typically used as traditional gain amplification devices, and they are often packaged in a small plastic chip. I'll maybe have some pictures up there. I've got some examples here. In this case, I've got an example of here. These are what's known as packaged op amps, DIP-8 packages. They have 8 legs that go into a circuit board, and they can either be single channel or dual channel as well. You also have something called discrete op amps, which would look something like this, for example. That's one example. That's from the Burson company out of Australia. Or in this version, which is, you see some of the guts of it, so to speak, is another op amp, and actually the one I'm going to be using in this video, from Sparkos company, that will be able to be inserted on the buffer board from VTV. Here is the VTV buffer board that I purchased, and it has provisions for connection to the power supply and the amplifier through these connectors. And then right here is where the actual op amp is plugged into. This is very straightforward. There's only a few details that one has to worry about and be careful with. You need to make sure that you properly locate the pin 1 location of the op amp, and on this board you see there's kind of a half moon cutout there, and that indicates usually the left to the left of that is that's pin 1. So most op amps have some kind of indication on them. In this case, there's a little bit of a divot there on the you can see, which would show you where that half moon and the pin 1 be over here. And then on these op amps, the packaged ones, there's little circles there that indicate where the pin 1 is for location. So as long as one is careful with that particular detail, you're going to be okay and have no problems getting this installed and working very well. I would take a side note here. Burson out of Australia many years ago made a very nice little headphone amp called the Lichen. Unfortunately, they're not made anymore. I actually snagged a couple because I rather liked it. It's a nice headphone on its own. What's rather nice about this headphone amplifier is it has provisions to easily either put in a dual op amp or 2 single op amps. This makes it very easy to do what's called op amp rolling, and be able to test out and listen via headphones to various op amps to decide maybe which one you prefer. So this is a very nice device. I don't know if there's many out on the used market, but you might want to keep an eye out for this. It seems to drive many headphones very well, has very good circuitry, and I've been very pleased with it. So I've had some experience over the time kind of op amp rolling. It's kind of akin to tube rolling for people that are familiar with that. By the way, VTV Amplifier also offers a tube optional input board instead of using the discrete or packaged op amps. So if your desires go more towards the tube input approach, many companies such as PS Audio, for example, have been doing this. Rogue Audio as well have been putting tubes in front of Class D amplifiers to very good effect as well. So that might be another option to consider. Today we're going to stick with the discrete op amps that I've purchased. And as I said, I've got the Sparkos discrete op amp, and also I have some of the Burson Vivid V6 here that I might try out as well down the road, but I'm going to start off with the Sparkos. So I'm going to switch over to the video showing the actual installation of the board so you can see how easy that really is and straightforward, and then we'll finish up with a discussion of what we've heard. You can see the Purify module on the left and the Hypex module input buffer on the right in this picture. Okay, cover off. You can see everything's neatly laid out, and everything is just plug in and plug out, so no soldering required. And if you just take your time, it's very straightforward. Some of the connectors are a little tight, which is actually a good thing, but you have to be gentle and just kind of ease them on the way out. So here we are uninstalling the Hypex input buffer on the first channel, and that will come out shortly. And it's well connected with the multi-pin connector, so it takes a little bit of judicious persuasion, but it comes out. Just take your time. Everything will go very, very well. Then the next step is to put a little bit of DeoxIT on there from Keg. That's a great thing to have in your toolkit, just to make sure all those connections really are as good as they can be. It's a lifesaver in many circumstances. All right, just doing a little finessing of the new input buffer board, sliding it into position. One thing to note is the standoff holes don't match the Hypex buffer. I talked to Warren Coleman about that, and that is the case. I have confirmed that the do not touch anywhere to cause a short problem on the new VTV buffer, so you can pretty much leave them unattached. They're apparently just glued in, so you could potentially move them to a new position if you so desire. I did not do that, and with just the connections and the multi-pin connector and all the connections, it's really mechanically stable, so it's not something I would worry about particularly, but you could move the standoffs if that's something you wanted to do. So that's just a small note on that. Okay, here doing the second channel, getting the input buffer disconnected and eased out. There we go, a little visualization. And now the new VTV buffer goes into the second channel, just like the first. And it's very easy to do, just a little bit of finesse, and you will have the good connection sorted on the amp. And now connecting back the ribbon cable, which are keyed, so there's only one way they can connect, so there's no worries there. And Soon we'll have the other connections going in, just doing a little wire dressing to make it neat and tidy and all that. And I'll get the power connections, I believe, there from the HiPex power board. A little more DeoxIT on the op amps, the Sparkos op amps, and also pointing out pin number 1 there. That's about the most critical thing you want to make sure you got right, and otherwise you'll be fine getting those in. And now we're ready to put the cover back on and button things up, and we're ready for listening. Okay, so now you've seen how easy it is to upgrade your VTV amplifier with the input buffer board and using the op amp of your choice to affect the sonic signature of your HiFi system. Hopefully you found this interesting and useful, maybe to encourage you to look into these products on your own and maybe with a little DIY, do some of the same things. I once again want to thank everybody for watching this video, and if you can, a like and a subscribe would be very helpful to me, encouraging me to make more videos, and I do hope to have more interesting videos coming to you shortly. Again, this is Chris Barker, DIY HiFi Life, signing out.